Hey, what's going on? Ed Fletcher here, and I thought I'd jump on and talk about the NFL coaching scandal that's currently going on. This is a conversation that's kind of been brewing in me for a little while, and I know it's been talked about in the NFL circles, but with the Super Bowl coming tomorrow, I thought it was appropriate for me to talk about now. For those of you who haven't heard yet, former NFL coach Brian Flores has sued the NFL, charging racial discrimination in hiring practices. And at the time of the lawsuit, just one of the 32 coaches were black, and two were considered minority. Since then, two other people have been hired, bringing that number to 4. Now, in the big scheme of things, whether NFL coaches are black doesn't matter. I would argue that it matters much more in the realms of banking and finance and healthcare and technology, and that all of those career lines are open from bottom to top to minorities and to African Americans. But the NFL is a particularly egregious microcosm for what's happening in America. Fundamentally, you want all people to feel like they have every opportunity afforded to them, and that they can achieve success in whatever field they feel best equipped in, whether that's coaching or technology or finance or art or whatever. We want a society where everybody feels like they can achieve, and that results in the best outcomes for all Americans and us collectively. It encourages people to stay in school and study hard and to try to work towards the American dream. And when the American dream seems shut off to people, then that's when I think we have more problems with crime and apathy and lack of individual and collective achievement. So hope and opportunity are good for society. So Brian Flores sued the NFL, claiming racist hiring practices, and he brought a couple interesting anecdotes with him. One was a errant text message from Coach Bill Belichick congratulating him on a job that he hadn't applied for yet, and when it turns out Belichick meant that text for somebody else. And at least in the eyes of Brian Flores, this is more evidence of fake interviews of black candidates to satisfy a rule that the NFL created. Years ago, the NFL created a rule, they call it the Rooney Rule, that says you've got to interview a African-American candidate for head coaching jobs and general manager jobs before you make a hire. They apparently, according to Flores, have been making a mockery of that rule by bringing them in for token interviews without giving them real consideration for the job. I hope that this lawsuit will bring forth more evidence of the hypocrisy and bullshit within the NFL, and really allow that league to better reflect its players and to give everybody hope, because you do want young African American kids who may not be fast enough or tall enough or big enough to be a player, to have that dream of being a coach open to them. You don't want people to feel like, well, they're not going to hire somebody like me for that, so I might as well not try. So that's really what we're fighting against. But think of it as a microcosm for the best jobs in America across the spectrum, and figure out what do we need to do to diversify those job lines as well. And again, that can be every spectrum. We want equal opportunity and hope across the board, so that everybody has their dreams stay alive that they can believe that if they have success in school, it will mean something, and that they can achieve the American dream, just like the white people who brought us here. So that's all I got to say. Ever forward, keep pushing. I am on Patreon. I want to say thank you to Mary Holt, my latest Patreon supporter, and I do occasional videos and talking about stuff and race because it's important. Thanks a lot. Ed Fletcher out. Ever forward.